Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Pokemon Masterclass. I have Justin with me. Say hello, Justin.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Grass Leader Justin.
So, we wanted to get some rental codes out for you guys for the month of June. These are teams that we used in May and the teams that we really like and think are really powerful. These are, I feel like, our cream of the crop teams. I think all of these teams have a video out too, so if you want to see that, if you want to see any of these teams in action, they may be beta versions of the teams, but we will link the videos in the description below.
Yeah, there's at least one for each out right now. More to come.
Yep. So one last thing to note, my bathroom is literally getting destroyed above me as we speak, so if you hear some loud banging, then that is what that is. However, we wanted to get this video out no matter what. So we will start with the first one. Oh, and also like, comment, subscribe if you like the teams. If you rented them and like them, let us know. We would love to hear that. We want to
know if you guys are using our teams. Please let us know if you use them and how it went.
Yeah. All right, anyway, let's get on to the first one. The first one we're going to talk about is my Scizor team. And I say my loosely because all of these teams are worked on together. So like I'll draft a team and then I'll shoot it over to Justin and he'll help me make some adjustments. So this is
or vice versa. Yeah, it's definitely collaborative, especially if we put a rental code out on this channel. 90% of that team is like just a big mishmash, a collaborative. Everybody here in the PMC crew behind the scenes.
Exactly. So the first team we're going to talk about is Scizor. It was kind of my dream to make a viable Scizor team, and I believe that we've done that here. This is definitely the best iteration of anything Scizor that I've ever used for doubles. It's we're running Iron Head over Bullet Punch because we want to maximize the damage potential. And you'll notice that Helping Hand is in a few places on this team. That's really instrumental in your damage output because you can like one-hit KO certain threats like Metagross with Night Slash plus Helping Hand and things like that. Heatran synergizes really well because you can put him in the back to soak up some of those Incineroar Flare Blitzes and things of that nature. And then the other big things here, Urshifu takes care of those Intimidate Pokemon to kind of pave the way for Scizor. Now Umbreon is an absolute tank. If you check the video, you will see that. And then
he's the MVP in most matches. He's so good.
He really is.
Really like one of the best pokes in the game.
He really is. Definitely a Pokemon that's being underused in the format, but I think you'll see more of. And the last Pokemon we got is a support Latias. Got Tailwind, Ally Switch, Icy Wind, Mystical Fire. There's a lot of good stuff with this Latias. Justin, anything you want to say about this team?
Ho and rep. Yeah, it's just insane. Like the Latias is not as used as much. It depends on the matchup, but it is, that's the source of Tailwind for the team. On top of that, we also have the Mystical Fire, which comes in handy. But honestly, it's the supports. Playing the supports correctly and not having an emotional attachment to any one poke on this team. I mean, that's usually the key to any VGC victory, is not being attached to any one. But like sometimes it's Heatran, or sometimes it's Urshifu, or sometimes it's Scizor. Like you got to be able to be flexible with this team. And once you get into that mindset of like anybody can carry or anybody can support in the right combos, it really starts to shine. There's a lot of strength here, and there's a lot of good resistances to a lot of things that are common in the meta.
Yep, I agree. So let's move on to the next one. Justin, you want to talk about your Comfey team?
Oh, yeah. So this is the team that people recognize me for the most, the Gudra Comfey combo. That's the thing I've ran basically since the beginning of our VGC recording on YouTube and everything like that. So, gosh, I ran this, back in Series 5, I think was the first time I tried it out. It was
something
just,
like that.
Again, we're singles players for our whole lives, and going into VGC, this is the combo that I was like, oh, this is how doubles works. All right, gotcha.
Yep.
Anyways, the short version of it is Comfey is the name says Gudra, but it's really the Comfey show. That's the center of most games. Because Comfey can either Draining Kiss priority with the triage to proc weakness policy on the Moltres, or do Giga Drain to proc Sap Sipper on our Gudra. Both can Dynamax, both can carry. We also have the Gigantamax Rillaboom with a Kaba Berry. It's max HP, max attack, so it's a tank. Really hard to kill for your opponent to one-shot him. They can take the Airstream and he'll still be able to live next turn to be able to throw something out. So you can like fake out and then throw something. The Intimidate Inciv's really good. It's max attack Incineroar, 3 text parting shot, and then we have dual screens Feeny. The Feeny comes in handy more than you would really think. Not just because of the dual screens, but people usually focus Feeny pretty hard. So it's almost like a little bit of redirection without having redirection, if that makes any sense. Wouldn't you agree, Brandon? What do you think about this team?
Yeah. The thing that I really like to note here, and this is something that you mentioned and something I totally agree with, is that you have 5 Dynamax options on this team. Every single one of these Pokemon except Comfey is a totally viable Dynamax option. And another thing is you got the Grassy Glide into Goodra for more Sap Sipper in case you ever need it. So you got priority boosts for Goodra. And
lots of them.
And this thing just.
And how many times in practice have people, when we Dynamax turn 1 with Goodra before we show anything, people always assume that we're special. They always throw out their eerie impulses and their snarls and like light screens. We saw a lot of that. It's like, it's not just tangential evidence at this point. Like, people legitimately think that everybody's running special Goodra.
Yeah, this is we definitely got free turns out of all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to the next one.
What do we got next?
We got Dragonite. So this is
I love this team. Yeah, I'm partial. I love rain teams. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
So this code is actually already out there, out in the stratosphere for anyone who's on the VGC Reddit. The focus, obviously, here is Dragonite. A lot of people said, well, I want inner focus so I can not get intimidated. Well, this is a special attacking Dragonite, so we're running multi-scale because we have the weakness policy. I don't like getting one-shotted by ice moves. So we are running weakness policy. You got Stab Hurricanes to boost your speed if you decide to Dynamax. You got so many different support options with Whimsicott's Fake Tears. You've got Electro Webs from Tapu Koko. And you've got Icy Winds, Helping Hands from Politoed, and he's also boosting the Hydro Pumps. And then last but definitely not least, we got Swampert Choice Band in the rain. And then we've got Assault Vest Metagross. Lots of damage options, lots of support options. What do you think, Justin?
I am so in love. Obviously, in testing, that was one of the big changes about midway through the month of May was swapping out a couple of things, a couple of moves and a couple of pokes, and we ended up getting the Choice Band and Swampert in there, and wow, what a difference that made. Not only can he put out big damage, he's also a really big defensive tool. Like, he's incredibly defensive, not only for his base stats, his max HP, and then his typing. And then we also have the flip turn on there. I think he honestly shines, but I'm biased because he's a Hoenn rep.
Yep.
Metagross also Hoenn rep, just rocking all the goodness here. And I know you love Dragonite. He's one of your favorites of all time.
Yep.
We're rocking the shiny Harpooya. Shout out to all the Mega Man fans here. This team is just ace. Like, I really, really like it. And people, again, most people think that you're going to be running physical. So in a scenario where you can Dynamax Dragonite turn 1, or doesn't necessarily be turn 1 of the game, but turn 1 of Dragonite's appearance on the battlefield, if you haven't shown on the board that he is special yet, people assume he's physical, and they'll try to intimidate swap you, and they'll try to I've seen people try to throw Will-O-Wisp on, like, oh, I got him, I burned him, or no, you didn't.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Exactly. So it really is, especially in best of ones on the rank ladder, it's a really good gotcha is to go something 15, 20 degrees off meta, and it's like, look, he gets Stab Hurricane in the rain. He also gets Hydro Pump and Thunder. Like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Obviously, having Protect here over the Draco Meteor or Dragon Pulse, it might, in certain people's opinion, be a little bit of a detriment to not have
a dragon move
just for a stab option to take care of other dragons in the meta. Like, for instance, if we come against another Goodra, like our Goodra set that we just looked at, Salt Vested, there's no way you're breaking through there. But we have other things on the, that's why we rounded up. We have two ice punches on the team that are on the physical side, and so we do have ways to get around our the detriment.
Yeah. The very last thing that I want to note about this team is Swampert. We had a problem. We were empowering Regielekis with electric terrain. Swampert kind of stops that.
Very much so.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move.
He's a big check. He's a big, scary bully to
he is. He is for sure. So let's move on to another one. Justin, this is your Sand team.
Oh yeah, man, am I excited about this? So yeah, this is again we're going in order of popularity here. For anybody that knows me, this is what I'm known for was the Guja Comfey and now the Cradily. This is kind of what put me on the board.
In Series 9, yeah.
Yeah, I love everything about this. This team again has 5 threats, 5 giant Dynamax Dynamax threats. And you might be saying, well, wait a minute, I only see 4. Well, that's because you're overlooking Bronzong, people. Bronzong, even without, because we're running max HP, max defense, he's got a 116 defense stat. Like, most people would assume that we're max spec D. We're max physical D, so that way raw body press is still really slap. All we need to do is get 1 defense boost up, and we can OHKO the standard, like, we'll call it the air quotes glass cannon Rillaboom. Mm-hmm. The squishy Rillaboom. We one-shot him.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's really, really beneficial to run the defense there. He's a big standout and also a secondary Trick Room setter. And once people see that we're like, oh, he set up Trick Room, I don't expect him to do damage, he slaps with that body press. And then vice versa. If they see us setting up the Iron Defense body press, they don't expect us to have Trick Room. So he fills both niches. And then the Gigalith, he's not just a sand setter, he's also, like, on paper, the main carry. But what actually tends to happen is most of the times, Cradily is the MVP. Cradily just and rep for days. Yep. Dusclops sets up the main Trick Room. We have the Bulldoze to set up weakness policy on Gigalith. Lots of good fun there. But the Cradily is what comes in handy because people don't expect it to be as strong, especially defensive as it is, because it's got a really high spec D. It's a rock type in the Sandstorm. And then on top of that, it also has the Storm Drain to redirect and also boost itself. And we have an Aqua Jet to self-boost from our Assault Vest Primarina, which I know you're a big fan of. You love Primarina, and yes. A lot of times, like, we actually use Primarina as the main option. So I'll swing it over you and let you round out any more thoughts on this team. I think I've rambled enough. It's one of my babies. I'm really happy that Cradily not only features, but also shines in this team.
Yep. There are a couple things that I really wanted to know about this team. Extremely powerful when you get the Trick Room up. So make that a priority if you decide to use this team. Find a way to get the Trick Room up.
Defensively around your Dusclops.
Yep. Find a way to get the Trick Room up. And another thing that I want to note about this team is a lot of the meta threats are not safe against this. Storm Drain Cradily beats the Dragapult Colossal combo, and the combination of Dracozolt and Gigalith alone beats the Galarian Moltres and Comfey combo. So a lot of anti-meta threats here on this team. It's really, really a strong team. I really like it.
Yeah, this is like one of my favorite teams I've ever made. I'm probably going to use this as long as it's legal. I'm just so loved because it allows me to use some of my favorite Pokemon. Cradily is my number 1 favorite, whatchamacallit?
Fossil type?
Fossil of all time. And it was my favorite fossil from this gen. Like, it's just super cool. I'm really happy.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, what do you got next? What's your last team, buddy?
My last team, this one will look familiar to anyone who followed us in the Players' Cup 4. This is basically my Calyrex Ice team, just transformed into my Glastrier team. Everything about it is the same. So we just literally booted Calyrex off of the saddle, and it's the same exact team.
And it works perfectly, and that was one of our sort of pseudo projects, was like a Series 8 to Series 9, and this was one of the features of that.
Yep. Potentially one of the most powerful features of mine. I like Assault Vest Glastrier plus screens because you don't necessarily need a Trick Room set up to win games and do damage with Glastrier, but we do have Trick Room there. Try to get it up if you can. We got Gigantamax Hatterene, who does massive damage in a Trick Room, but like I said, you really want the Trick Room up to get that kind of damage. This is a very bulky Incineroar. This is not the max damage one that Justin's running. However, we do have attack EVs, but this is just kind of there to sponge a lot of hits. Attack. Yeah, we got 100 attack. And then the last but not least is Defiant Zapdos. I really like to run a Defiant Pokemon if I'm running a lot of physical offense, or if my main feature is a physical offensive Pokemon. We're running Close Combat over Thunderous Kick because at +1 you can one-hit KO Incineroar. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, it's really awesome. So we do have Brave Bird over the dual wing beat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Nice. Sorry, I'm looking at my showdown notes.
Yep.
Of the team. And I really, really like it. Like this is another one of those teams where, again, as you see here, there are a lot of threats on this team. A lot of Dynamax options and a lot of big, strong threats. Like at any point in time when you roll up with this team, you could just as easily be Dynamaxing the Zapdos, the Hatterene, or the Glastrier.
Yep.
At any point in time, like it's completely even spread. 33.33 repeating % across the board on this team.
Yep,
it's amazing. Hatterene really, again, she needs the Trick Room. Glastrier likes the Trick Room. There's a big difference between my verbiage.
Yep.
Glastrier on this team, and like Brandon alluded to, he does not need the Trick Room. Like as opposed to our last team, it really thrives. Glastrier just gets better in the Trick Room on this team with screens and an Assault Vest. He's already got Chilling Neigh, and if you Dynamax, he does have the Knuckle option from our Close Combat. So for me personally, I very rarely click Close Combat when I'm small on this team. I'm very hesitant to, because I don't want to drop our defenses because he's just so bulky.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it just depends on what you want to Dynamax and the team spread. But yeah, I really, really like the options here. There's just so much to love about this team. Everything is strong. Everything does its job well. This is just a top tier team.
Yep.
S+.
Thank you. All right, Justin, let's move on to your last team. Let's talk about your Sun team.
Alrighty, so this is our culmination team here. So this is a little bit of everything that we all love from Sun. So I am going to pass it to Brandon, and he'll talk a little bit more about this. Is his favorite starter of all time, the Venusaur.
Yes, sir.
And this is the way that this is Brandon's Venusaur. I came up with a rough sketch, and he the anime where the hearts pop out of the eyes. You know what I mean? He sent that. Bro, that is the Venusaur I've been wanting to see and wanting to run.
Yep.
So basically, this team is all about the sun. This is not a number one feature. As the theme for all of these teams, it's kind of about everything. Everything can kind of be a threat. We have the Super Luck. Even though it's a defensive Togekiss, we're starting from the bottom, going up all these supports. The Togekiss has the Citrus Berry, lots of defense EVs. And then we're just using our Super Luck ability and just, rolling those dice for the Hax Gods to get us some crits for the damage. But the Follow Me in the Yawn is really what it's there for, to allow the Venusaur to set up. Other than that, the other main support is the Oranguru, my Dixie Kong.
Yep.
With the Mental Herb and Inner Focus, she can't be faked out, flinched, and she can't be taunted turn 1, so it's a guaranteed Trick Room turn 1 unless they OHKO her. So that's what you have to play around. She can also use Ally Switch. It's just something to think about. We don't have it here, but it is something to think about as an option to potentially add a little bit more versatility. We have Sunny Day instead. It's just that really good defensive monkey. But being able to do the Trick Room turn 1 is vital. Everything else is second priority, when she hits the field here. So what she would mainly be able to set up is my Hoenn Rep, my favorite. This is my girlfriend's number one favorite poke of all time.
Yep.
Shout out to Miss Hales. She loves turtles, so this is her favorite. That she loves Torkoal. This is the min speed. So we have a base 20 speed, and we're 0 negative priority, quiet, max special attack. This is the charcoal, burn your face off with eruption. And you better believe that Oranguru has instruct people, so it's really strong damage. So Brandon, we're going to talk about our, that's the Trick Room side of the team. This Incin is the max attack, so that way, if we do have the sun up, it's really bulky. Like, I say it's max attack, and people think that it's squishy. Like, all the other EVs are in HP and defense.
Mm-hmm.
This is an insanely bulky Incineroar. This one is assault vested though. So I'm gonna let you talk about the Incin, the Venusaur, and the Charizard. Go for it.
Yeah, so first thing I want to say is it makes me really sad that everybody hates Torkoal Venusaur so much because I love Venusaur. I feel personally attacked when I see things like that. Just want to throw that out there.
We wanted to run something a little different. We wanted to rub a little salt in that wound with this one, don't we?
Yep.
In testing, we have made some people rage quit.
Yep. Charizard, pretty standard, but except we're running the Charty Berry instead of Life Orb. I like Life Orb better on Venusaur because just maximizing that damage potential on Venusaur I think is really important. And the other things I want to say about the team is don't be afraid to Dynamax the Incineroar or the Togekiss. Togekiss has a strong dual stab combination, and those Airstreams can help you out too. Like if you don't have the Sun up, then maybe that helps out Charizard, maybe that helps out Incineroar or Venusaur. So definitely don't be afraid to max those Pokemon.
Dynamaxing Incineroar is always a good option here, especially because we're in the sun. Like that's why we're running the max attack, is because we want that back pocket of like nobody would expect that. And in a best of ones, that's how you win games.
Yep, exactly. So I think that about wraps it up. Justin, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Oh, touch on the Venusaur real quick because that's your baby.
Yeah. No sleep powder here. This is all offense. So Growth, Solar Beam, Weather Ball, Sludge Bomb. In the sun, Weather Ball is stronger than all of your other offensive options unless they're super effective hits. So just massive damage from this thing.
The importance, obviously, of Growth in the sun. We have the Follow Me with Togekiss.
Yeah.
And if you have Growth, it's +1 attack and special attack, but in the sun it's +2. So you get a nasty plot from that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have Life Orb. Like, that's just absolutely insane.
Yep. So what you could do is you could Follow Me with Togekiss turn 1. You could set up a Growth for like 1 boost, or you could just switch in Torkoal if you are safe on your lead. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. There's a lot of options to be able to set up a Growth. And if you can get one up, he can put basically 1v4 the entire game.
Yep, that's true.
He's so bulky in a Dynamax.
Yep. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up, man.
Yep. Really, really fun. I hope you guys try these teams out. Again, if you guys do, or girls, if everybody out there tries our teams, please let us know either in the comments or on Facebook or on our in the Reddit where Brandon posts. We really, really appreciate it. And obviously, we want you to hit the bell if you are subscribed. That way you get a notification every time we upload to the channel. This month in June, we've got a special project coming up, so stay tuned for that.
Yep. All right. Well,
new record codes coming out.
Yeah. Well, until next time, I've been Zero.
And I'm Justin.
Class is dismissed.